Do principles exist universally, and how may they be related to a biological theory? Such a question prompted me to write upon this topic here in order to clarify perhaps a few points in the issue. Certainly there aren't any words besides those of God that exist as an invariantly accurate part of the universe. None could say that words they select about various theories are naturally true, flowing as cool and clear as a high Arctic stream in winter. Summer. Words are phenomenal utterances formalized by human beings, more meaningful perhaps than the song of whales are to whales, yet possibly not. Words and concepts, contingent such as principles, can be fictions or fanciful, right or wrong. Yet no one can know for certain. Certainly in physical cosmology, it's indeterminate. All things are temporal and non-local. Space-time itself may be a local exposition of universal phenomena with a different metastructure than that of the temporal space-time of this universe. Biological evolution theory isn't the same necessarily as a more modern biological theory of evolution, or Darwinian evolution theory, that was. And modern cosmological theories, being somewhat incomplete, cannot inevitably be said to be mathematically congruent with Darwinian or general biological evolution theory. I do not argue for this literalist interpretation of the biblical book of Genesis here, of course. Some lack the interest in discovering what the book of Genesis is really about anyway, and that is another subject, principally. I will post something now about black holes and the problem of general cosmological theories in order to clarify the paradigm of the investigation before returning to plain biological evolution theory and its relationship to philosophically valid principles, or possibly Platonic realist forms. It has been written that mathematical preferences regarding system determine what one believes about the universe and its cosmological history and existence. M theory and superstring theories, for instance, have quite incomplete mathematical development so far, and therefore cannot completely correspond to a complete cosmological theory. Black holes, while having an apparent existence with observable influence upon other astronomical bodies, are nevertheless largely unknown outside of logical inference regarding their composition and etiology. At the most basic level, gravity is thought to be the proximal cause of a black hole. The mass of a black hole becomes so dense that no mass can escape its gravitational field. Because the interior of a black hole is entirely conjectural, so far, the math work also incomplete. The structure of a black hole and its gravitational compaction of mass to a near zero-sized point produces infinities that do not provide a plain resolution for understanding. One of the reasons for incomplete math modeling of the universe and of black holes is the failure of development of unified field theory. Einstein worked upon a unified field theory for the remainder of his career, after completion of general and special theories of relativity. Yet, at least he did examine the difficulty in uniting the mathematical foundations of the macrocosmic with microcosmic world of quantum mechanics, even if he did not succeed in making a unified field theory. Quantum cosmology, or a unification of large-scale with local subatomic structures, to such a degree of accuracy that the interiors of black holes might accurately be understood, as well as the metaphysically pre-existing structure of the non-observable universe before time equals zero and after time omega is an actual point that physicists consider. Time and space are united together in relativity theory. There is no universal pervasive space-time within the universe, although plainly common sense indicates that the universe itself has a space-time history that could at least be considered as phases or days. Day 1 might have been the inflaton from a Higgs field with the weight of the universe less than 20 pounds. Day 2 could have been the time a fraction of a second later when matter won a slight existence over antimatter because of a symmetry violation. The expansion of space-time and dispersion of the initial matter and dimension to more normal, larger forms, stars eventually were able to form. Within 100 million years, by condensing matter with gravity. Phase 1 stars lasted just a few million years. Supernovae yield heavy metals and phase 2 stars with long life were able to form as the universe continued to expand, black holes may not have formed until the end of the second generation of stars, when the stellar cycles permitted enough mass to exist, with fusion being produced or fission, which would have tended to eject stellar material aggregated with gravity. I'm going to have to cut this a little bit short, running out of time. But the singularity could be originally some sort of zero-dimensional phenomena from the one. The basic waveform or matter that formed everything is at some point reducible to one-dimensional or no-dimensional anything. One has the alternative of believing in biological evolution and nothing else, philosophically speaking, as simply as one might believe in the religion of candy apple galactic transcendence with unchallengeable conviction. Yet philosophical interest in the truth may drive one to consider testing one's own beliefs and renew the fact that certainty is generally incomplete in cosmological issues and temporally based of necessity. It is valuable to consider not only what universal and particular linguistic propositions are, but also to consider what analytic and synthetic propositions are. Immanuel Kant, in his Critique of Pure Reason and Prologue Mena to Any Future Metaphysics, brought into focus the controversy about synthetic judgments, analytic statements, and the truth of each in actuality and potentiality. Barrow, in New Theories of Everything, described the issue succinctly as well. Upon the definition rests so much a meaning in modern philosophy. Analytic statements are self-contained in providing their own necessary truths. Math systems are the best example of analytic statements, and symbolic logic statements also provide examples. Analytic statements require no worldly, material inference that is a variable or contingent truth for validity, while a synthetic statement does use empirical reference in statements. Evolution theory is rotten with synthetic statements, of course, while math-based cosmological theories endeavor to be a priori analytic statements that match up to a definition of reality without depending at all upon it, except that observations and predictions made by the theory can be found. String theory hasn't yet provided anything for observational confirmation, yet it does stimulate a lot of mathematical research. One interesting point brought out in Barrow's book, The Theories of Everything, was Steve Wolfram's Mathematica computer program that modeled every possible resolution of chaotic systems. The discovery was that chaos inevitably produces just 4 patterns of structure, given enough time. The universe, if it began in chaos at any point, would then have stabilized in a fairly maximum complexity level of 4, with evolution tending to simplify rather than complicate things for life. Life may not be a computer program either, although was with a different subject perhaps, like in mathematicians who would like math modeling to be the best description of what ultimately is. Gödel's incompleteness theory implies that nothing can be finite, indeed, in math modeling or in creation. God is infinite in all directions, containing everything, phenomenally appearing to human experience, whatever that really is.